Prince Harry has always shown his feelings openly. He has always been known for being honest and real. But in recent months, people close to him say his emotional state has changed completely, from someone who was holding things together to someone who is utterly broken. Sources say he is not sleeping. He is pacing nervously. He is watching everything online like a man waiting for something terrible to arrive. And one night, according to a legal advisor who has worked closely with the Sussex team, Harry finally broke down completely. The advisor claims Harry admitted that Meghan never carried their children, that the official story told to the entire world was only the version Meghan wanted told, and that he agreed to it because he believed it. It was necessary to protect their family. But instead of protecting it, that secret has become the heaviest burden he has ever carried in his life. A burden so heavy that even palace insiders now say Harry looks like he is falling apart from the inside out. This is the moment the carefully built image started to crack. And once that crack appeared, the truth began finding its way out. And this is where the real story begins. Don't forget to subscribe to Royal Report Daily for more exclusive royal updates. This brings us to the woman who now stands at the absolute center of everything. Her name is being kept private for legal reasons. She is known only as DL, and she is not staying quiet anymore. DL says she was more than a surrogate. She claims she is the biological mother of both Archie and Lilibet. She says she has the DNA proof. She has the legal papers. She has the emails and the hospital files. And she says she holds the truth that Meghan and Harry worked very hard to hide. For years, DL lived quietly under a strict legal agreement, told never to speak, never to show herself publicly, never to exist in any public space connected to this story. She was promised silence would be respected. She was promised safety. She was promised payment. But according to her, she received none of those things. No final payment. No recognition. Not even a basic health check after giving birth. Just silence, and then being completely and deliberately erased from the story. And DL says she will not be erased again. To understand how DL became part of this shocking story, we have to go back to late 2018. That was when she was contacted by a middleman connected to a high-end fertility clinic, one regularly used by extremely wealthy families who required total secrecy. The message was simple. A high-profile couple needed help. The arrangement would be completely private. The payment would be generous, and her identity would never be publicly connected to the children under any circumstances. She signed the legal agreements. She entered the clinic system. The medical paperwork was handled with extreme caution. Every single step was taken quietly, so quietly that DL says even the clinic staff were given only limited information about who the intended parents actually were. She carried the pregnancy. She followed every medical instruction carefully. She delivered safely. And then she was pushed completely out of the story. This is where things begin to get very dark. Because what DL says happened next doesn't just challenge the Sussex public story. It threatens to rewrite royal history entirely. When Archie was born in May 2019, the world saw happy photographs, glowing headlines, and a royal couple telling everyone they simply wanted privacy. But DL says what the world saw was not the truth. According to her, Archie was already 2 weeks old when Harry and Meghan stepped out to present him to the world. 2 weeks? That means the famous moment when reporters were told Meghan had just gone into labor was part of a carefully planned announcement designed to hide the real timeline entirely. DL claimed she had already delivered him quietly in Colorado. No royal photographers. No busy hospital scene. Just a private birth followed by complete silence. Meanwhile, across the ocean, the palace released statements that confused many observers. Meghan was in labor. Then, minutes later, Archie had already arrived. It didn't make sense at the time, but no one questioned it publicly because the world assumed that Sussexes simply wanted a different and more private birth experience. But DL says that wasn't privacy. That was a planned announcement, a carefully constructed way to present Meghan as a new mother without ever showing a single real hospital moment. What makes this even more difficult to dismiss is how Meghan physically appeared in the days that followed, perfectly rested. No visible signs of a difficult labor, standing confidently in heels just 2 days after supposedly giving birth. At the time, people said she had simply handled pregnancy and labor beautifully. But now, according to DL's account, the reason Meghan looked so perfect was straightforward. She had not been through labor at all. And the introduction of Archie to the world was not a celebration. It was a performance. Stay tuned to Royal Report Daily for more breaking developments in this story. If DL is telling the truth, then hiding a pregnancy isn't just about photographs or public appearances. It's about paperwork. And according to her, the paperwork is where everything went truly dark. DL says her name does not appear on any medical file that the public would ever be able to see. Not on discharge forms, not on the birth certificate, not on a single official document connected to Archie's arrival. She claims she was told directly, no trace of you can remain, not even a signature. This was done, she says, to keep the royal story completely clean, to make sure that Meghan appeared to have fulfilled the role expected of a royal mother without any visible complications. But even the official documents that do exist raise serious questions. Months after Archie's birth, Meghan's name was suddenly removed from his birth certificate and replaced with her royal title. At the time, Meghan's spokesperson described it as a clerical decision. But now, with DL's claims sitting alongside that documented change, some sources believe the alteration was entirely intentional, a way to redirect legal attention away from details that simply did not match up. And there is more. DL says the fertility clinic, the middleman, and even the payment records were all specifically designed to keep her identity completely invisible. She says she wasn't just cut off emotionally after the birth. She was cut out legally, as if her entire involvement had never happened at all. And yet, behind the scenes, she kept everything. The agreements, the emails, the clinic receipts. She kept them because her silence was supposed to be respected, because she believed she would be paid fairly, because she trusted the system she had willingly entered. But when all of that was taken from her, when she realized she had been replaced by a story that did not include her and never intended to, she decided she was done hiding. And with that decision, the entire narrative around the royal births began to fall apart. At first glance, this might look like a private dispute between two adults and a broken contract. But that is not what makes this story truly shocking. What makes it shocking is royal law. If Meghan did not give birth to Archie and Lilibet, and if no official surrogacy disclosure was ever made under UK legal requirements, then the children's royal status becomes extremely complicated. Royal succession is not symbolic, it is legal. It requires family line to be traceable, verifiable, and officially documented. A hidden surrogate breaks every part of that chain completely. And according to insiders, the palace is quietly terrified. Here's why. First, the children's titles could be formally challenged. If Meghan was not legally the biological mother, their status changes significantly under succession rules. Second, official documents may no longer match real events, which opens the door to serious accusations of fraud and deliberate deception. Third, Parliament may need to intervene. Members have already begun quietly asking why the births were never independently verified in the standard way. Fourth, international paperwork could be invalidated, particularly Lilibet's U.S. birth registration if it contains incorrect maternal information. This is no longer simply a question of whether Meghan carried the children. This is now a question of whether the monarchy was deliberately misled, whether the public was misled, and whether the entire line of succession was constructed on a carefully built story rather than documented truth. Behind palace walls, advisors are reportedly working deep into the night. Lawyers are examining every piece of the Sussex story carefully and thoroughly, because if DL presents her evidence publicly, it will not just embarrass the royal family. It may require rewriting significant portions of royal history. Make sure to subscribe to Royal Report Daily. We bring you the truth behind the palace walls. As the story grows louder, Meghan Markle grows quieter. Not strategically quiet in the way she has managed silence before, but genuinely missing. No events, no speeches, no polished photo shoots, no surprise podcast appearances, no carefully staged public moments, not even a simple statement. People who once worked closely with her say Meghan has gone into a kind of self-imposed lockdown. Hollywood contacts whisper that producers, who were once enthusiastic about attaching her name to major projects, are suddenly backing away politely, quietly, but firmly. And it isn't hatred driving that withdrawal. It is fear. No serious producer wants to stand beside a potential royal disaster of this scale. The silence is especially striking because Meghan has never in her public life been a woman who hides. She has always been expressive, outspoken, and ready to take control of her own story at the first sign of trouble. But now, the silence feels less like control and more like careful planning. She is watching, waiting, studying how bad this is going to get before she decides what her next move will be. Sources who used to work directly on her media team say it plainly. She is not staying silent because she wants to. She is staying silent because right now she has to. Because if DL truly steps forward with the documents she claims to possess, Meghan's next move may be the single most important moment of her entire public life. While Meghan goes quiet, Harry is crumbling. Friends say he is barely recognizable from the energetic, passionate prince the world once knew. He is anxious, he is short, he is pulling away from Meghan and spending long stretches of time completely alone. Sources say he is overwhelmed not by guilt over the choice of surrogacy itself, that is not a crime, but by guilt over the secrecy. Over agreeing to a story that now threatens to destroy everything he sacrificed so much to protect. According to someone close to their inner circle, Harry recently made a heartbreaking confession. "I just wanted to protect my family. I didn't think it would ever go this far." Those words echo through every part of this collapsing situation. Harry once said he left the royal family specifically to shield the people he loved, to build a safer, healthier, more honest life. But somewhere along the way, that mission twisted into something else entirely. A performance he can no longer maintain, a story he can no longer hold together alone. Now, as DL prepares to speak publicly, Harry faces the hardest truth of his life. The story he helped build is collapsing around him, and he no longer has the strength to hold it up. While the palace freezes and the Sussexes retreat further into silence, DL is preparing to step into the spotlight. Her team says she is ready to speak, ready to show what she has, ready to reveal what she says was buried beneath layers of legal agreements and royal secrecy. The documents she reportedly holds include signed confidentiality agreements, financial transfers connected to the Sussex Trust, emails exchanged with members of Harry's personal team, fertility clinic records, a hospital bill with her name in the place where Meghan's should have appeared, photographs taken inside medical facilities, and private travel logs showing movements that align precisely with the timelines of both births. If even a portion of this collection is authentic, it would be more than enough to ignite a legal firestorm on 2 continents simultaneously. Her team has strongly hinted at a televised sit-down interview. No editing, no protective handlers, no filters. Just DL, her documents, and the truth as she lived and experienced it. For Meghan and Harry, this is not just a threat, it is a countdown. Because once DL speaks publicly, the Sussex story will be permanently and irreversibly transformed, not shaped by public relations teams, not softened by carefully managed media sympathy, but shaped by evidence. And evidence, real, documented evidence, changes everything. Subscribe to Royal Report Daily now. Don't miss what comes next in this historic royal story. Now the story reaches its final and most charged moment. The moment when silence becomes heavier than truth itself. Across the ocean, Buckingham Palace remains still. No denials, no confirmations. Only the quiet and careful tension of a centuries-old institution bracing itself for an earthquake it cannot prevent. Inside the Montecito home, the atmosphere is reportedly cold and silent. Meghan hiding from a storm she can feel closing in around her. Harry pacing through long, sleepless nights, quietly saying words that no one ever expected to hear from a prince of the realm. And DL standing on the edge of history, holding documents that could permanently redefine what it means to be born into royalty. If she steps forward, the public won't just learn a secret. They will watch a carefully constructed image fall apart in real time. Because this story is no longer about gossip. It is no longer about rumors or online speculation. It is about identity, about family line, about truth, the very pillars that hold the royal family itself upright. For years, the world watched Meghan and Harry build a story of modern love, fresh beginnings, and emotional honesty. But now, the curtain has been pulled back, and what stands behind it is not a fairy tale. It is a crack that is getting wider every single day. And if DL brings her evidence fully into the light, that crack may become the defining moment when royal history turns. The moment the world realizes that the most carefully constructed royal story of the modern age was built not on tradition, not on documented truth, but on silence. The monarchy waits. The public waits. The world waits. And as the countdown continues, one truth rises above everything else. When real evidence enters the room, even the most carefully maintained image begins to tremble. And this one is about to fall. This has been Royal Report Daily. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more exclusive royal news and updates as this story continues to develop. We will keep you fully informed every step of the way, right here on Royal Report Daily.